Check, check, 1, 2. So we're gonna check, check. Here, make sure we're getting some type of internet signal. Alright, so thank you. Live now. Check, check. Alright, so we have. Alright, so what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today, I'm going to talk about John, and I want to let you know a couple things about John, and exactly what we're going to be looking at John, and kind of like breaking down what John really is. And then, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and get into a game that's coming out in March called Tromies 4. If you guys don't know, I have I've worked on Tromies 1, I've worked on Tromies 2, and I've worked on Tromies 3, all things. So 4 is going to be like the sequel. It's like a trilogy, and vertically a wizard, and you got to get through these water type things. So you're going to be jumping on these water things and getting each other's side, and at the end you got to fight a boss, which is pretty cool, and kind of like and pretty interesting as well. So I'm excited to see how we're going to be doing that. Also, we get a game in October that comes out called Zombies, so that's also coming out. I've just been really busy and really kind of getting games done. I got John done. That's finally out. It's on Steam. If you guys know about my page, it's on Facebook. Go to my Facebook page. It's called John. You can look down there, and you can also look at some really interesting things about that. And it's got just a really nice story of where John came from. And how he was minted, and also, if you guys don't know, John he was in World War II, and he was a real person, so he did actually, he was in the army. So telling a little bit about this guy, but my character and my version of John, and how he performs, just like he did in the duty of World War World War II, my bad, just like he did in World War II, which is pretty similar, and but my version is a little bit different. So let's get down to the basics of what John is. So John is actually an agent. If you guys don't know who John is, in my game, John is an agent. Now, the lore of the story is John turned bad. He went bad in 2012. Well, what led him to actually go bad in 2012, I haven't told anybody this, but what led him to actually go bad in 2012 is because in every single mission, he stopped getting appreciated. He found out governments were just, sending over because they were fighting for oil, and they were fighting for water and land, and they were just like a completely different type of mineral that the government wanted. So the black government, if you guys don't know, John is like from another planet, but made human. And also, if you guys don't know and you've seen that Jones video, or if you've seen the crash, you're like, well, how did John survive? Well, John survived in the crash easily because he's an agent, but he's like this human World War II agent. He's from a different planet, but is formed by the black government on a different planet that has, minerals. So in a way, when the World War II plane actually crashed, or World War I or World War II, I don't really know, but when the plane crashed, what happened is it activated a shield generator, and the shield generator actually activated, so when it actually crashed, it didn't do any damage to John. Now, the funny thing about this is if John did take a lot of damage, what would actually end up happening is he would do battle damage, and it wouldn't have hurt that much, into him. It probably would have put a couple stripes or a couple scars on his armor. And that's pretty much as far as it would go. But because the crash landed, it took all the armor and it kind of spread it out. But even though he didn't have armor on, he could still actually survive because there is like this titanium armor that he has on that doesn't come off. So it's like it protects him like a gel, which is interesting. So, and also the plane actually could slow down about 54 milliseconds. And this is also what we call light seconds. That he slowed down when he crash landed into the place. So in the video, when it's like, they're actually slowing down about 15.4 milliseconds. So this is what allows him to actually crash, but it didn't crash like extremely heavy and destroyful. Pretty much all that really happened is the wings were pretty much taken off, but everybody inside was alive. So you're probably asking the question of, what happened to the pilots? The pilots have, well, the interesting thing is they actually did have human pilots, so the pilots did die, but John himself did not. So that's why he was able to came out of there alive, and he was able to maneuver out of there with no cottage cheese. Oh my gosh, I need to say this right. Is it cottage? No. I don't know. Just no damage on him. That's all I can say. Yeah, I can't believe I can't say that either. But yeah, so the interesting part about it is he was able to escape without just a little bit of damage, and that was it. So he got out and he got his body armor, he's got his weapon, and then one of the scenes. And if you guys don't know what planet he's on, he's actually on a planet to kill a scientist. Well, a lot of people really don't know the scientist is actually a robot. So that's why he in one of the missions, as you play as John, you're going through you're going through the missions, you're taking out towers, you've got a tank and you're destroying the tank, you've got some tanks you take out, but the interesting part about it is your main objective is to move forward. You just keep moving forward, but it's challenging because sometimes you can die, and if you're not careful you will die. And I think one of my favorite parts about creating John is the story anyways, and then having an intimate assault squad. The interesting thing about this, and yes, it's 100% free, the interesting thing about this is that the character, it's, himself, he's feeling, he was just killed, he just got crash landed, he doesn't know why, his pilots are dead, he doesn't know that he's going to meet a sergeant, he doesn't know anything, all he knows is, I've crash landed, I need to get off the island. Alright, so what is the island? Well, I want to say the island is where the pyramid triangle is. Now, if we go back to when Jones was done, by the way, I'm not doing any remakes. Jones itself is going to be completely done. It's done like it is. All you really have to do is play it and look at the trailer, and then and you can look at everything else. That's for yourself to see. But I'm not changing that. I'm not redoing that. I'm not remastering it because I want people to know where I started. And this is now I've become better in graphics and images and stuff like that. All right, back to what I was saying. So the interesting thing that's really interesting, that really kind of blows us way out of the water, is it's the interesting part that people don't know about. They're really confused and they don't really understand how this is supposed to play out. Well, there's a lore behind John. If you go to my Facebook page, there's a lore behind John. It tells you that he served in 1944 to 2012. Well, the real John didn't serve until 2012. After World War One, I think he died in World War Two, around that basis. But my John did not. He was a robot from planet. So it's like you rehack. But so where's the island now? Well, the island is actually based in the pyramid triangle. That's right. So you would think, okay, that makes sense because John is from a different planet, so they want something that looks alien too. So yeah, so the site, and this is fiction and make believe, as people say, but it's based on the Pyramid Triangle. It's an island called the Arctic of B. Arctic of B is it's a very strong planet. I mean, very strong island. And when you go to Arctic B, you're in the Pyramid Triangle, so you'll see different things that you just really wouldn't see anywhere else because his entire mission is he's based on trying to go kill a scientist and also stop a nuclear bomb. Well, the interesting part about this is if you don't start the nuclear bomb, you die and you lose. So what is this about the robot? Well, the robot actually starts off in Germany. There's Germans there. So people would say Hitler, but actually no. Flame actually has a robot that's a scientist. And the scientist is a robot because Flame designed him from start to finish. And, well, John doesn't know that. But it's not until later he finds out that, okay, that was a robot that Flame designed, and Flame, if you guys don't know, is the devil that is in hell, that comes up, and he can send his demons and people. That's why it'll make more sense. So the interesting part about this is that it goes as far back as the Bible days, when he came down and that type of stuff. So he sends in the German scientist that's a robot, and you can't kill him. He's on your team. Yeah, I mean, he can kill Germans, but he's a scientist. The scientist does react and does feel like a German soldier, which is what Flame wanted to do. Well, when you go in, the speculation is people believe that the soldier himself is Flame himself. Well, he's actually not Flame himself. He has the general hat on, or the commanding officer of Flame that he would wear. He does not, in fact, have the actual hat on, but it's just like a replica or copy. And a lot of people with speculation of the hat is this General Red? Well, it's not General Red either, but the scientist of the hat does pertain to General Red, yes. Because there's red there. And some of the motions you'll see, it's very hard. Now, I did want to make one of the missions very interesting, so you're not going to die. It feels like a movie. You're just kind of like moving really fast. So you guys, you're not going to die, but pretty much good luck killing all the enemies and seeing what I've got in store for you. So so after John realizes this is a robot, and he stops the nuclear countdown that's going to happen. So how he stops this is he stops it by entering a couple codes, and they're done. So he stops the countdown. But what's interesting is the robot reactivates the nuclear countdown. So now the robot and the nuclear countdown are actually being started again. So now you have to escape, and I give you, I think, 3 or 4 minutes to escape in a Jeep to get to the other side and win. Now, I had somebody say about these missions, well, here's the thing about missions. When you get a text at the top of your screen, I went in history, and I went to text, and I went into the game, I put it into the game, it will not work. I don't know why, but it just will not, it won't apprehend. So, I mean, I'll have missions where you don't use it, and you just use the editor to play some of the missions. So, it just depends on what you're doing and how you reactivate that. But I didn't change anything. I'm still going to do things with objectives. I think it's really cool. I think it's really nice because I don't like the fact that you put a name in and you look down and it says John Robeson, and then it just doesn't make sense to me. So use your imagination. Also, the robot scientist says he comes, I've never done this before, but in this one, he comes out at you. So he's actually talking to you now. So you've played, the mission 0, mission 1, all the way to mission 9, and now in mission 9, you're just now getting information from this German scientist that now he's going to kill you. Well, nobody kills anyone, so it's like interesting. And then after the message is done, poof, sirens start going off, and it's like, sirens going off crazy, and you can't shut it off. So, like I said, you've got, and it's just really interesting. It plays out so well that I love it. It's beautiful, it's great, it's amazing. I had a lot of fun doing it. You also will notice that you might want to go with a control shift on this for the gun, and then should control shift out, and then just like move your cursor like down, and then like that way you can walk. But you can do what you want. But definitely recommend. I recommend that you would control hit shift, go down, and then go out, so you can see where the guys are. Elsewise, you're going to be in a facility lost. So yeah, have fun with that. So another thing about John. Is John dead? No. John isn't dead. Actually, John is on another mission. And like I was telling you guys, John performed all those operations. Well, coming 4 or 5 months, or whenever I do it, you're gonna see another episode of John, and he's gonna be fighting with Commander Isaac. Well, you'll see that I can do another whole new game about Commander Isaac and pretty much where he fits in. Although Commander Isaac did not fight in World War II, but had communication with him. So it's a very different, and then how that works. He had communication, but wasn't in World War II or World War One. He was in different object era completely. But somehow he was still in contact, and that had to do with like a future war or something. But he meets him and does a mission together. It's like an episode. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited for you guys to see that too. I'll be posting that, and it's going to be great. So what do I have? Well, the next mission he has is, now John in this mission, he's not in this mission, but the next mission he has is very different. It's like it's combined, because he's on this, he just got done saving this world of this nuclear bomb with a scientist. Literally, no, Flame was behind it. But he's going. He has this other mission he's got to do, and it just seems very weird. It could be very interesting. You guys will see. So there is something I do want to tell you guys, and I have a surprise for you, and I think you're gonna like it. So Germans always live in these castles. They've been in these castles, and they got a base there. They got tanks there. The thing is just swarming with guards. So in this episode, we're going to be attacking the castle. So what's really interesting about this is the castle itself is a castle. And we're going to be swarming the castle all the way around. This is going to take me a lot of work to do, because I got to figure out, okay, what can I use, what can I not use. This is going to be very interesting. But I can do it. I know I can do it. It's not going to be that hard. I've got the blocks for it, so yeah, I got this. Anyways, but you're going to be swarming the castle, and there's going to be missiles, from World War II. Missiles being plotted, missiles being fired, and yes, guys, we are going to be seeing a Tiger tank. Now, also, on top of the Tiger tank, we also have mortals. Okay, I don't understand why I keep calling these things this. I'm gonna come out. We have barrels that have like a big, gigantic cannon. So we have a cannon, a huge, gigantic cannon, and it has ammo, and the shell is huge. So when they fire, you better be out of the way. So the interesting mission about that is we're going to be dressing up as Germans to get inside and stop the enemy. People think, well, Flame is there. Well, again, Flame is not there either. So that's going to be very interesting to see as well. I have nothing for this month. As far as news, I will, however, have something on my page that will be talking about what we're going to be seeing into the coming future of these episodes of how John and Isaac Commander and General Green and Agent Black comes into play with all these, and then we have Carla coming into play as well. That's right, Carla. coming into play as well, and the very beginning and the very end of how this started, and the very end of how this is going to completely end, and how we're going to be able to see everything kind of like take its toll on these coming events. So I'm really excited to bring you guys that. For more, go to my page on Facebook. It'll be in the description. And I will talk to you guys again. The other thing I have coming out this month is a song. You guys take care. Bye.